much about it, but it's just what they're saying. We'll talk about it in our commercial.
Yeah, it'll all come together. As it always does. Good morning. Good morning. Well, here, come scoot a little bit.
I hope.
Here.
I mean, my black eye is.
I'll just tell them I beat you up. Don't you worry. There we go. Now we're on together.
I don't mind saying what happened, but it was pretty horrible. Yeah.
What is June texting me now?
Is this mine?
In the dishwasher could be hazardous. Various studies suggest harmful chemicals, including carcinogens and plastic bits, are leaching into your food.
Oh, really? No kidding.
How much plastic you use by using glass containers instead.
Oh my goodness.
From metal straws instead of plastic.
The morning comes as global talks to reduce plastic pollution collapsed overnight. There'll be high security
This was like at the
for the
hospital.
opening of Notre Dame Cathedral this coming weekend. Authorities repeating some measures they used during the Summer Olympics. They'll also be keeping tourists off the cathedral's island location. Invite-only ceremonies ushering in the next chapter for the landmark. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
This was the morning of, like, right when it happened, it was swollen, and then it just kept getting
Bigger.
worse and worse and worse.
Oh my God.
It was pretty bad. It just gave me a little anxiety,
I can't
but not
imagine.
as bad as when I fell the morning before, right before I came here. Do you remember you were on with me that morning when I had the concussion and I fell
Oh
on the
yes,
ice?
I do remember.
That was bad.
Grace, I'm going to call you as klutzy as me soon.
Huh?
I'm going to say that you're as klutzy as me soon. I fell down a flight of stairs with clients once.
What?
I fell down a flight of stairs with clients. That was fun.
Did you hurt your back?
Tailbone, bad.
That's terrible.
I fell down an icy set of stairs when I lived out in Long Island. I still have like a deformity. Welcome to the Real Estate Show. I'm your host, Christine Koenig with Keller Williams, licensed in New York and New Jersey. Hosting today with
Grace Warren from Howard Hanna Rand Realty in Warwick, New York, and yeah, it's a beautiful day, freezing, but we need that cold, right, to kill any of the bacteria that's in the air.
Okay, is that a thing?
I don't know. I think it is a thing. I haven't really been around any sick people lately, which I'm very thankful for. It's one of the things I'm thankful for.
Yes. Speaking of being around people, how was your Thanksgiving this year?
It was fabulous. So because I didn't have to make the turkey, it was at my house.
Really?
But I did not make the turkey. My son,
Oh.
he smoked a turkey for the first time at his house, and then he brought it to me, and we carved it and heated it back up. But it was really good. Like I was really skeptical about the smoked turkey thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is gonna be dry. This is gonna be terrible. But no, it was great. And
Was it a light smoke or like a heavy smoke
He
flavor?
smoked it for 8.5 hours.
But from tasting
No,
it.
you could taste it a little bit. You could definitely smell it.
Mm-hmm.
But once you carved it, and if you took the skin off, you barely tasted it at all, and it was really quite moist. He put it in a brine for like 3 days,
Mm-hmm.
and then he put it on the smoker, and I helped him put this is the first time he's ever cooked a turkey.
Right.
So he needed a little bit of assistance, and I put like a rub on it. We made a rub,
Mm-hmm.
put it on that, and then he smoked it all day on Wednesday, and it was done around, I think, 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. He pulled it off, let it cool down, and then in the morning we cut it up and put it in some stock to heat it, and it was delicious. The only thing about that is you can't really make gravy with that, 'cause there's no drippings.
that's always my thing. So smoking or the deep frying, that's another way people are
Yes.
doing the turkeys now. That's what I always say. I'm like, what do you do for gravy? I mean, I can make gravy from just like a thing of chicken broth or whatever.
Right, that's what we did.
It's just not quite the
It's
same.
not the same, but it was good, and the turkey was good. So it was funny because it's been a big argument. He's wanted to do this for a long time, and my daughter's like, "This is Mom's Super Bowl. What are you doing? Why are you trying to steal her thunder?" And I was like, this year, I was like, you know what? I really don't care about my thunder. I'm really happy to share the work with other people. So he did it, and I said, "This was so good that every year you're going to do this." And he's like, "What?" I'm like, "Yes."
Right, and it's just not a one and done.
Exactly.
Right?
So,
You can't insert yourself into a holiday and then try to get out.
so I had I think I had 14 people for dinner, and it wasn't too bad. How about you?
We actually had a smaller Thanksgiving. So I cooked a turkey last week for the office.
Oh,
right?
okay.
Then
We did that too at our office. Yep.
And then we did the turkey for turkey dinner. And now we have another Thanksgiving because my sister travels to her in-laws. So we do what we call the Koenig Thanksgiving. And that's next Sunday.
Oh, okay.
So I'll be cooking a third turkey.
Oh, okay.
So turkey never ends.
Do you use a fresh turkey or do you use a frozen turkey?
We got our like free ShopRite turkey. I use and like because we're still buying a ton of groceries, and they are very expensive.
We get the
so
free
we got
turkey
our free
too.
turkey, and then I started using my mom's number, so she
So
got
she gets
free
it. You better
turkey.
be quiet. ShopRite might be listening.
No, it's my mom. It's fine. It's all in the family.
So yeah, we this year I ended up buying a fresh turkey, and I got a free ham, because
nice.
they wouldn't take anything off the fresh turkey.
Right.
So
They used to.
Yeah, they did. They do on certain ones, but not the
one you wanted.
fresh one. So they're pretty expensive, and typically I would get it from Sweetman's because they're fabulous. But this year I forgot to order it, so I was like, okay, I guess I'm just gonna buy.
I didn't know that you could order
Yes,
a
they
fresh
raise
turkey from
turkeys.
Sweetman's.
They raise a certain amount of turkeys every year, and you have to like reserve your turkey, and sometime in like October probably, and they only have a certain amount of them.
Wow.
So yeah, and their turkeys are good, and you can really see the difference between one of their turkeys and a fresh turkey and one of the frozen ones.
I am
they're
sure
a completely
there's
different color, and
no
I didn't
comparison.
realize that until I got one from there. They're expensive, but they're very good.
Listen, if you're doing one turkey a year and you want it to be fabulous, it should be fabulous.
Exactly. So anyway, that's what we did for Thanksgiving. And then, the weekend was long, and there was, all things going on and whatever. But, now we have to get back to work for a couple of weeks until Christmas.
That's right.
Because it seems like it's coming right up.
Well, Thanksgiving was so late this year.
Right.
But speaking of things going on and busy between now and Christmas, I did want to let everyone know that at our office we are having an amazing event. We are doing free community event, Pictures with Santa, this Sunday, the 8th, from 1 to 3. And with that, we are also going to set up a table with gingerbread houses, and so you can decorate a gingerbread house, bring the kids, let them participate, have their picture with Santa. You know how sometimes kids get freaked out by Santa?
Yeah.
I feel like if you let them come in and warm up a little bit, decorating a house, and they see all the other kids getting their picture taken, warm it up, and then hopefully get a non-crying Santa picture.
Yeah.
But we are super excited that Santa is making his way down from the South Pole. I think Mrs. Claus is coming as well. South Pole, North Pole?
North
Pole. Sorry. I feel like it's cold outside and I just want to go south.
He's definitely at
He's
the
down at the North Pole. Sorry,
yeah.
everyone. South Pole, North Pole. Maybe he's at his summer village in the
Yes,
South
it's possible.
Pole. I don't know.
It's possible.
It's second home.
It's summer over there right now.
It is summer there right now. I just saw a friend who lives in New Zealand posting themselves at the beach, and I'm just like, oh, let's go there.
Right. I wouldn't mind right now.
But anyway, so yes, please, 1 to 3 next Sunday, or this Sunday, come over. And our office is located, just so everyone knows, at the Chester office. So if you know where the Chester Diner is, if you turn in there, the office is on the second floor in the building that has all the Chester ice cream and all that stuff.
For the old timers around here, me included, it's above where the theater used to be.
Oh, excellent. See?
Did you know that?
I did not.
There used to be a Chester theater there, and I remember
Performing arts theater or movie theater?
a movie theater, and I remember I think the last movie I might have seen there was Pet Cemetery, and it was really creepy because we were the only people in the theater, and you could hear their old radiator pipes clanking, and it was pretty scary actually, but that was a long time ago.
Wow. So, anyway, why don't we introduce some of the things we're going to talk about today on the radio show and let everyone know where they can get in touch with us at.
Yeah, if you'd like to give us a call right now, you can reach us at 845-651-1110.
Yes, call in with any questions you may have, or share any events that you might know that are going on. I just did my like events guide for my mailing list, and there are so many holiday things going on. I can't even believe it. Maybe at the end of the show, I'll pull some of them up and we can talk about it.
And if you want to give us a text, it's 845-328-0886. And
Love that.
yeah, text us if you have questions you don't want to call on the radio. Sometimes it's easier to do it that way. We're happy to answer any real estate questions that you might have.
Yep. And then today we're going to talk a little bit, and then like I came up with this topic because I had a client this weekend, and we went to look at a condo over in Vernon, but not over at Great Gorge, over like on the Hidden Valley side, where what used to be Hidden Valley, but I think the condos are still like Hidden Valley condos or something like that. It's on Hidden Valley Way. Okay. So what kind of brought that up is the history of those condos is very interesting. They were, ski chalet style condos when Hidden Valley was a ski mountain. Then the homeowners association fell apart, and there are consequences when that happens. Then they rebuilt the HOA there, which doesn't always happen in a condo community. And so, I kind of want to talk a little bit about that. And then, one of the things I was talking to my client with was like, what should we be looking for when we're looking at condos? So I thought that would make an interesting dive in.
I think so.
And then some financing on condos.
Yeah. And it's not, a lot of people buy them for investment as well. So,
That's true.
and the investment also affects the homeowners association too, when you have investors in a community.
So we kind of talk about what I'll call the nuance of condo buying.
Okay, and then we'll go over a little bit about what Department of State now is saying about dual agency and designated agency when you have people walking into an open house.
Okay.
Or when they're calling an office about a property that's listed with the agency, and how that an unrepresented buyer, how you must deal with them.
Okay, I think that's very interesting.
Yeah.
So, all right, I guess we will be right back once we hear from our sponsors.
Okay. There's not that much here, but there is something.
Let me do a quick scan here.
Okay.
Hi, this is Brenda Wiley with Howard Hanna Rand Realty. Looking for a weekend getaway, a year-round retreat, or maybe you're considering
Did not provide an opinion.
So they asked for it. So this is.
Oh, and I saw requested the opinion.
All summer long. And when fall arrives, go apple picking, hiking, or skiing on Mount Peter. Visit
Buyer agency relationship must have existed prior to the buyer showing interest in the property listed by the same broker.
In order for dual agency to arise. But that doesn't happen when you're in an open house.
Electrical systems. Our thorough inspection will identify important factors which may save buku dollars when making a home purchase. For more information or to schedule your home inspection, call the owner, David Wilner, at 845-610-5366. Visit pillartopost.com/David Wilner.
Hi, this is Christine Koenig with Keller Williams. I grew up helping my dad with his investment properties, and that foundation gave me the confidence to become the realtor I am today. When choosing your agent, experience matters. Licensed in New York and New Jersey, I've helped hundreds of people buy and sell their homes and start their real estate investment portfolios. Find me at listwithchrisk.com, and that's Chris with a C, and choose Christine Koenig to be your realtor because experience matters.
This is Zach Crux, Sports Director for WTBQ. Tune in every weekday morning to the Frank Truad Morning Show to get the latest news, scores, and info about your favorite teams and players. That's every Monday through Friday on the Frank Truad Morning Show, right here on WTBQ.
You have a car problem? Maybe it's a mechanic problem. Maybe it's not. Sounds like a job for me, running any of the
So what this doesn't really seem to indicate is how specifically to work with an unrepresented buyer.
No, it's just saying how you have to do.
Right. Hold on. Welcome back to the Real Real Estate Show. I'm your host, Christine Koenig with Keller Williams, licensed in New York and New Jersey, hosting today with
Grace Warren from Howard Hanna Rand Realty, and I'm from the Warwick office. And so let's get started.
All right. So condos. Have you ever owned a condo?
Well, yes, I have in a couple of different places actually. Jersey City. This is my family, our trust. So, and I pretty much did everything with it. So we owned one in Jersey City, and then we owned one in Newburgh.
Interesting.
Yeah.
My first place that I bought was a condo in Paterson, New Jersey.
Okay.
And then I own one now over in Vernon and the Great Gorge condos.
Okay.
So I have been through the process, and then countless buyers, right?
Yeah.
And sellers.
Sold a bunch of them.
Yep. So I thought it would be a good thing to chat a little bit about condos.
Yeah, and every association, homeowners association, is different.
Yep.
Then there's like a difference between townhouses and condos too. So
co-ops.
Co-ops, yeah. We don't have a lot of them here, but
don't.
There are some in Westchester. Is there any in Rockland?
I'm sure there are. I mean, the same way there are a few in Orange County. There are a few around.
There's just a handful of them here, but they're totally. There's a lot of things you have to know to when you're going to buy them.
Yep. So I figured
you're
we
going
would
through it right now, so it's probably fresh in your mind.
Yep. Well, we ended up not putting an offer in, but I thought we should start with when you are physically at the property, the first time you go there. The first thing we always do is send the listing and make sure that if there are obvious questions up front that you have, that we try to get those answered. So when we are on site and looking around, we can talk about those answers and see, the practical application. So maybe the question is, what amenities do they have, right? Like that's something when you're on site, you want to try to figure out. Some condos have absolutely no amenities. There's some common property, and your maintenance fee or HOA fee is going to go towards snow plowing and snow removal and landscaping and things like that.
Sometimes there are amenities that don't work.
That
is
true.
The situation that we had in Newburgh when we bought the condo there. There was a pool that wasn't functioning, and then they finally fixed it, but everyone had to pay extra then for that.
Correct, and that is repaired. That is another question that we always ask about is assessments, and we'll kind of circle back to that when we get to financing. Yep. Anyway, so pulling into a condo community, one of the things that I look at up front is what is the state or the condition of the common areas, right? So the obvious ones, the road, the sidewalk, the landscaping, how well kept is it? Are the stairs in good shape? Things like that. Then I start to look at things like roofs and siding, right? Have roofs been redone?
Yes.
How old are the roofs? Does the siding look like it's failing in any way? Again, these are usually the common areas. Decks are questionable. Sometimes they are personal property to the owner. Sometimes they are considered part of the common area. So I still kind of take an eyeball on those things. And it's important that we're checking those things out because those are the things that when there is an assessment, those are usually not accounted for in your monthly or not fully accounted for.
Yeah, in your regular HOA fees, that's not accounted for. That'll be something that comes up for a period of time until that particular debt for repairing something is paid off.
Right. Like so at my mom's so my mom owns a condo in Jersey, and they just had to replace all of the decks.
Oh boy.
And this is on second floors, and they're cantilevered out, and it was not an easy or inexpensive event. And so each unit owed about $10,000 for the replacement of the deck, and they broke it up into 6 payments, right? But when those units are selling, right, some of those units were selling with the assessment still open. Some are now selling with the assessment closed, right? That's why it's important to understand not only what open assessments there are, how much of it has been paid, will the seller pay for it prior to closing, or are you taking on that responsibility? And then most importantly, learning enough about the development to find out if there are any upcoming or pending assessments. So they may not have been levied yet, but everyone's talking about it and everyone knows it's coming if you live there. And if you don't live there, you haven't read the meetings or the meeting minutes, and you haven't been at the meetings, like how are you supposed to know? So, you know, part of that due diligence for buyers is always call the HOA, talk to the management company, ask them what their expectations are 1 year out, 3 years out, 5 years out, to see what expected maintenance is coming.
If you're a listing agent, you should probably do that as well when you're taking a listing
You
from a
should.
condo, so that you know, because people are going to ask that question, or they should.
They should. So that's just like, as I said, the first thing I'm looking at is that common area. You know, the second thing, when you walk into condos, every condo development is going to have different floor plans for different homes, 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, some with come with garages, some don't, right? So understanding what the layout of the unit you're going into is, but also what the units above and next to you are. Are you on a corner unit? Are you on an interior unit? Are there basements, right? So figuring out what it is that you have. And most importantly, that's important because sometimes people do not want someone above them, right? They don't want to hear the noise. Sometimes people, you know, don't want someone right next to them. You know, people will say to me all the time, they're like, you know, can we, you know, do you know, does someone live above? And I'm like, I don't know. Well, do you think they're quiet? I don't know.
I don't sleep here at night.
Right.
I don't
And
know.
correct. Not only that, over the long run, whoever lives there right now may not live there next year, right? So making sure there's an understanding of where physically that property is located in the development and what your potential noise risks are is something that we talk about.
Yeah, and I had an issue with somebody who moved into a condo, and then somebody else moved in underneath them, and the person underneath them was a nut.
I was gonna thought you were gonna say a drummer.
No, was crazy, like was schizophrenic and was outside screaming on their deck and screaming things like, I'm gonna kill you. Like they were talking to themselves.
Right.
It was crazy. And she was very upset.
I'm sure. I mean, there's no way to ask about that.
No, there's no way. But if you know that you can't tolerate that, you know, any kind of noise, you may want to consider that.
Well, and not only that you have short-term renters and long-term renters, right? Understanding if a development allows for the short-term rentals. I know Great Gorge does. And although they have noise restrictions and quiet hours in place, people don't always respect those. So again, trying to understand, you know, do you have short-term rentals around you?
Yeah, because you may not want to be in a place that does short-term rentals. You may want to just be in a place that has, you know, long-time tenants and people living there.
Right. And lastly, another thing in terms of that noise of the units, say, above you, a lot of HOAs have rules about how much carpeting is required on the second floor versus how much hardwood or laminate you can have, because it cuts down on noise. So they may say 3/4 of the unit on a second level needs carpet.
Okay.
But not, you know, not all places do that. So again, understanding you know, other than that, when you're inside, it's the same as everything else. Checking the furnace, checking the hot water heater, how long ago have they been replaced, looking around for any sort of leaks. In condos, I think more than anywhere else, hot water heater maintenance is so important, because if you're on the second floor and your hot water heater goes and now you damage the floor below you, now you have liability not only for fixing your stuff, but for repairing their stuff as well.
And that exact thing happened to us in Newburgh.
Happened to me just recently in Vernon. It happens all the time. So making sure that you know how well maintained the utilities are, the plumbing is. These are all really important things in a condo, because again, you're attached to so many different units. For instance, last year, my mom's hot water heater went while she was away.
Oh, God.
And thank goodness our neighbors have her number. They called her right away, and it was in the basement, but their basement was finished. And all of a sudden, they were getting all this water coming in.
Into their...
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, you know, I raced down to go and, you know, shut the water. And I asked them, I said, you know where the water main is for this house? Because it's like in a common area. Can you go turn the water off so this doesn't continue? And then, you know, So much water in the carpet. It was crazy.
God. What did you have to replace it? Did they
Replace
have
the
to
hot
replace-
water heater, replace all the carpet.
Okay.
And we did find with the neighbor, because they had like a laminate and they were just able to dry it up. So, but, you know, it happens all the time. When you're in a condo, you do not live on your own, and whatever happens in units around you is going to affect your unit.
Same with like
Fire, for instance.
fire or pests.
Yep.
Pest management. Like
All of that.
everything has to be sort of, you know, dealt with.
Yep. So, at the unit that we were at the other day, the space itself was nice. When we looked outside, I happen to know that that had an HOA that fell apart for a long time. You're only able to buy cash for a long time, and the prices are still low, although you can finance in there now.
Okay, well, that's good. That's
it is
good because there's that's been an issue in many condo places now, and
Correct.
especially with FHA. Can they do
No.
FHA there? No, just commercial.
And then as I look around as I'm looking around the development, things that I see is so much deferred maintenance.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
So like one of the 8 buildings had a roof replaced, and there was a lot of like, the siding was like the wood siding, and you could see where there was a lot of deterioration and water damage. And, you know, I said to him, there's a give and a take here, right? You can get in at an affordable rate, but you need to know as time goes on, these deferred maintenance items are going to keep coming up. And so, you know, you have to know your budget to know, like, here's what you're paying in taxes, here's what you're paying in your mortgage, here's what you're paying in HOA, and, you know, plan to be paying assessments over the course of the next few years, because you and I can both see what's coming up.
Right.
Is that I don't even have to call them to know that these are going to be things that will come up.
Sure. Okay. So
So-
yes, those are things to be concerned about.
Yep.
I think we have to take a
Yeah, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about the financing end of condos.
I guess Mike is on vacation, right?
I don't. He works while he's away, but he's working from
Right.
from Colorado.
Oh, I hate that they changed everything.
Oh, I do not like.
I
And
just-
then when this thing
is-
pops up, this stupid new home screen is terrible.
And then I will help you fulfill your goals.
Now you got to hit the matrix button.
I know there's so many steps.
Yep. And then when you're in here, this page is so dumb now.
Is your satisfaction.
I just figured let's pull up condos.
Randrealty.com.
Are you gonna pull up some condos?
Yeah.
Nice. Do you want me to pull them up on the bigger screen?
Yeah. I mean, this is pretty.
Oh yeah.
It's better than on the phone.
I don't even try to do it on the phone.
But look at what is like. I'm pulling up condos and every other thing is checked, and I didn't do this. I didn't do any of this. Like I didn't check any of these things.
I know. I know that like change is hard and it just takes some time to get used to it. But this is not a change I am liking. I just like if you're gonna do a big system change, make it be better than what we had before, not harder to see and harder to use. And we are harder. So now go to residential. We want to see just condos.
Is that where you went to? Because I went to condos.
I don't think you
No,
can do
I went
that
to
anymore.
residential. Okay,
Yeah.
that's why I wasn't able to do it.
Right, you have to go to property subtype now because they put.
Yeah,
put
that's
it all
what I'm saying.
together.
Like everything is marked. This is annoying.
Do you want to do? We'll do Orange County as a whole.
Yeah.
You gonna bring us in?
Sure.
There's 70 active in Orange.
This is
County.
really loud.
Oh, turn it down. That's why I only wear it with one ear. That's why I do this.
I know it's so loud.
I'm gonna do by town so we can see what we got around here.
We're back with the Real Real Estate Show. This is Grace Warren from Howard Hanna Rand Realty here in Warwick, New York, and I'm with
Christine Koenig with Keller Williams, licensed in New York and New Jersey. So
Yes.
we've been chit-chatting a little bit about condos, and we're going to continue that conversation. Figured we would talk a little bit about finance, not only things to look at from a financial side, but then also getting loans to buy your condo. So, we had kind of talked about some of the possible liabilities when you buy into a condo in terms of common areas and assessments and things like that. So when you are seriously considering a condo, things that you should do is definitely, as we talked about before, reach out to the management office. Some of the things that you may want to talk about or ask them about. Number one, do they have their bylaws online and can you read them so that you understand the rules that the condo that you'll be expected to live by when you move into the condo. Number two, you want to get a sense of their budget, right? You want to look at things like their reserves. New Jersey has a new state law about the percentage of reserves required. And so there are a lot of condo communities in New Jersey that have had to have special assessments just to fill their reserves up to the required level.
If anybody doesn't understand what that is, the reserves are the money that they're holding in case there's some sort of issue that needs to be fixed quickly.
Right, and the idea in theory is that you should keep your reserves high enough and budget and save for the big expenditures come every 20 or 30 years. But what ends up happening is you fill your reserves and then there's a lawsuit and you have to pay out and you pay out of the reserves. And then, you build back up and then there's a fire and you have to, replace a lot of the common area stuff and that comes out of the reserves. And then you build back up. But eventually you're falling behind on things like saving for roofs and stuff like that. And so, again, understanding what the reserves are, how deep those reserves are, what is the operating budget for the year, how many people are behind on paying their dues. All these things should be public knowledge to the people who live there. So,
and when you say lawsuits, like, do you want to talk about anything specific so
sure,
people understand what that means?
I think the two most common lawsuits.
If somebody doesn't clear the ice and they fall on your, the UPS man it could be him. It could be anybody. Anybody that comes in there, could sue you.
Yep.
And it's just like a homeowner in a regular house.
And so some of those kinds of things actually layer into being able to get insurance, what those rates are. Then it also layers into things, again, based on all that stuff, layers then into can you finance it, right? So there is, I guess, kind of, I don't want to say special condo financing because it's not exactly right, but there are rules that lenders want to follow in order to finance inside a development. One of those things they want to look at is they do want to look at that operating budget. There's a whole package that you put together for the bank. And I don't mean you personally, but the seller is going to have some things that
the buyer is going to require. Yeah.
And a lot of times the mortgage broker is reaching out to the HOA directly to get the information they need.
A lot of the mortgage brokers they know who they have to call in these units, especially if they do business in that area all the time.
Correct. One of the things that we get a lot is we'll have first-time home buyers. They want to use an FHA product and they want to buy a condo.
Yeah.
And that is not the easiest thing to do. When new developments are going up, most of them do apply to be on what we'll call like the approved list of FHA properties, with the mortgage companies. And, there are certain things they have to meet. And they do that. The condo associations want to be on that list, or I guess the builders want the condos to be on that list when they're building out the condos, because their goal is to sell quickly. And so they're willing to jump through hoops at the beginning because the house is going to be built to code. Everything is going to pass. They're willing to pay the money to have the inspector come in and, show the finances they need to show, right, that everything is good. There are no pending lawsuits at that point in time. And right, that process is easy when you have a new condo. Each condo development, I think it's every 10 years, but it might be 5 years, has to reapply to be approved on the FHA loan condo list. And as time goes on, it becomes an expense that and process that HOA board members don't want to do. While a builder may do it up front because they understand it that when they want to sell through 300, 500, 800 condos to be able to use the FHA product helps them have more people who can buy in. But in terms of resale, a lot of times the condo board is not super concerned if they're on the FHA list or not. That, you know, they're happy to wait around or have their people wait around for someone who can finance it conventionally.
I think they become more concerned when the market isn't so great, and then they have vacancies and empty units there that aren't. That's when they start.
Correct, because like anything else, if you have a bunch of empty units in a condo, price is going to go down because demand is down.
Right, when there's so many of them for sale in a specific neighborhood or development, then that's when it becomes a problem for them, and then that's when they may go ahead and try to get that approved.
Right. Now, on the flip side, the thing, if Mike were sitting here, he would say, and I have had him do it for me, if a development is not on the FHA list, that does not mean you cannot get an FHA loan. It means that there is an extra process that the bank and the development has to be willing to do. There are forms they can fill out to get like an individual okay for that unit. And they are going to ask to see, as we said before, they want to see the finances, they want to know about the lawsuits, they want to know what you were talking about before, percentage of owners versus investors. Banks find condos to be a better investment when it's homeowners rather than investors.
Right.
You know, and so they have different percentage of owner occupants versus renter occupants that will make the property be FHA compliant or not. So all of those different things go in. So I know over in, and this was a few years ago, but over in Whispering Hills, we were able to get someone in with an FHA, even though they're not on the FHA list. Last time I checked, and I, you know, maybe over the next break, I'll look again. I believe that there's something like 2, maybe it's 3 now, approved FHA.
In Orange County?
Yep. Developments in Orange County.
Is Homestead anymore? Because I know they weren't.
I'm not sure. Maybe over the break we'll check and see. But I don't think anything in Warwick is.
Okay.
But yeah.
So we pulled up what's available right now in the county, in Orange County, and there are 69 units that are available currently here in the county. I can barely see that from here because I'm blind, but
I have my glasses on today, so we're in luck. So we have like 6 or 7 in Chester, and those are all in Whispering Hills. In Harriman, we have one on Heritage Drive and one on I don't know how to say that, Berwyn. I've
actually sold one in there.
Do you know what development that is?
I don't remember what it's called, but I can remember it's off of Harriman Heights Road.
You could get there.
I can get you there. I definitely sold one in there a while ago.
Oh, it's called Arden Forest.
Yeah.
It's a smaller section.
It is smaller and it's cute though. They have nice units in there.
Yep. In Highland Mills, there are 3 available. And then Middletown has a majority of the condos available right now.
Where are they in Highland Mills? Which ones?
Oh, in Highland Mills?
Yeah.
I'll have to click in here.
There's also like the Timberwood. That might be in Monroe or Central Valley, actually.
I think that is in Monroe.
Yeah.
Let's see. Strawtown Farms, Woodbury Heights. Those are the ones in
Highland Mills.
Yep. And then there's so many in Middletown, I'm not going to go through them all. And then, hold on, I'm switching over back to my list.
They changed, just so everybody knows, they changed MLS completely around, and we're all complaining about it because we're creatures of habit, and now we have to actually think when we go and do what we have to do before we just did it.
Correct. Anyway, there are like 7 in Monroe, 6 in New Windsor, about 10 in Newburgh, 2 in Pine Bush, 1 in Port, 3 in Southfields. Where is Southfields? Like that is like a PO area. Oh, it's over in Tuxedo.
Okay.
And then in Warwick.
I always forget that Tuxedo is part of Orange County.
Yep.
It's so funny because it really feels like it's Rockland over there.
It does. So 2 in Walden and 3 in Warwick. So that's our about 70 condos on the market right now for the whole county. And of those, you know, a majority, probably like 25 of them are in Middletown.
Yeah. So the condo market's tight right now, and they're selling pretty quickly as things come on. So let's see. We have a question
or a statement. It says, I would never buy a property subjected to an HOA.
petty tyrants with
Yes.
clipboards marching through the neighborhood looking for insignificant violations to levy fines. HOAs attract this personality like a moth to a flame. You mean a Karen?
So I will say I will say this: my experience in the multiple HOAs I've been a part of,
And they're not just in condos. There are HOAs for single family homes too.
and, right, townhouses. I don't end up with like the idea that there are people like marking things off. It is like how do I explain it? Like you have to know when you move into an HOA that you're moving into an HOA, and there are rules, and you just abide by them.
Right.
If you don't want to abide by them, you should not move into an HOA because you will get fined. Like you can't have if there are no dogs allowed and you have a dog, you are gonna get fined, right? Like if it says doors need to be brown and you paint your door bright blue, you're going to get fined. So yes. There are people who will levy fines.
Listen, I am a very disagreeable person.
Oh my goodness, you are not.
Yes, I am. I just don't let people know it, but I am very disagreeable. So I don't think that I could actually manage it in an HOA, but that doesn't mean that other people can't.
Right. So I've only lived myself in a condo once. And the one thing I will say this, I thought I was going to hate it. And I mean that. I thought I was going to hate it.
Because you came from a single family house.
Yep.
You lived in that your whole life, right?
And so living in the condo was actually one of the most liberating experiences because not once did I ever think what happened on the outside of my door, right? That was outside. I only had to worry about what was happening my walls in. And that's it. I knew that going in. I didn't once get overly excited about anything else going on. I just sort of was like, hey, I don't have to mow a lawn. I don't have to paint anything.
You don't have to shovel.
I don't have to shovel. I don't have to plant if I don't want to. Right? Like there were so many liberating moments about being in a condo that I didn't care about the rules.
There's give and take, right?
Because on the inside I'm not a particularly loud person. I don't play the drums. Right? I'm not really doing a lot that's gonna affect the people
You're not
above
tap
or below.
dancing.
No. I'm just coming and going, and it's very easy that way. So I guess it really does depend on your personality.
It does, and this person obviously wouldn't like it.
Yeah, no,
it's just obvious.
That is correct because there are some busybodies, that's for sure.
I mean, there's busybodies everywhere, right?
Yep. We're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Right. Okay then.
I hope I didn't offend her.
What?
I hope I didn't offend this person.
No. Well, I don't think it's this person is always calling it.
Yeah.
I don't know who they are, but they always call
Yeah,
it.
this is Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, I've seen that number before, the 590. Seen that.
I wonder if that's
Petty tyrants with clipboards.
that's hysterical.
It makes me think of that show. Was it Desperate Housewives? When they lived on
On Wisteria Lane.
Wisteria Lane.
Yes.
Yeah. But he was in everybody's business. Do we have more?
I think those are the things I wanted to talk about for that.
Okay. So I don't even know where we'll go with this. The above concerns remain relevant to your inquiry to the extent that it relates to what information the licensee relays to the parties involved. Why can't they just
Not use legal speak?
yeah.
I don't know.
It's telling you exactly how to fill it out.
Because people get confused.
Yeah. It is confusing because it doesn't make sense. Like you're filling out. And I think it's something that really needs to be clarified. Maybe we shouldn't even talk about it.
Talk about. Right, I feel like it's confusing to this inside baseball. I think it really is very relative.
Let's just skip over that. Let's just give some stats out.
All right, and I'm gonna pull up. I sent out.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Show. This is Grace Warren from Howard Hanna Rand Realty, and I'm here with
This is Christine Koenig with Keller Williams.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, it's like December, what, 3rd? No, 2nd?
Yeah.
Like, what happened?
Thanksgiving was so late. That's what happened.
Yeah, we were talking about some of the fun stuff that's going on, right?
Yeah. So every month I send out a newsletter where I go through, I mean, very stealthy, I go through Facebook.
Yeah, send out an events guide too.
I do, and I pick out the things that look fun, right?
Yeah.
And I was late because coming into Thanksgiving, I would normally have done it, late last week, put all the events together. So I did it last night, and I'm like, I should have sent this out, last week, but it just felt so November then, and now all of a sudden it's feeling very December.
Yeah, and like the village of Warwick had their tree lighting at the Green this past weekend,
Right?
And I was like, oh my gosh! And they started Home for the Holidays last week, so not this weekend past. The weekend before was their first weekend of Home for the Holidays, so. Yeah, it seems like everything's happening really, really fast this year. We have 3 weeks until Christmas, right?
Yeah.
On Wednesday. That Christmas Eve is on a Tuesday, so it's 3 weeks from tomorrow.
Yep. So
I don't know about you, Christine, but I've basically done nothing.
So we actually did a whole lot this weekend. I had no real plans. So we got our tree up, we got our tree decorated.
Oh,
Mike got up on the roof, he hung all the things. I got the stockings out. June loves to decorate. She's the motivator for that. So literally Thanksgiving dinner was over. She's like, get out the Christmas stuff.
She's like I was when I was her age.
Yeah.
Like I would, my mom had a cabinet with all the Christmas decorations, and around September, I'd be like, okay, I've got to start looking at what's there so I can figure out where I'm going to put everything. So my mom didn't really care. She let me do whatever I wanted.
So let me ask you this question, because it's been in my mind. Around here at least, and I'm sure this is a nationwide trend, but people seem to really get into decorating for Halloween now.
Yeah,
And
that's
if
a
you are,
newer thing.
Do you think if you are a crazy Halloween decorator that you don't do crazy Christmas, or do you think if you're a crazy Halloween decorator, you're also a crazy Christmas decorator?
I think you started out as a crazy Christmas decorator, and then you became a crazy Halloween decorator, or vice versa.
Okay.
Because I'm here. We all know Rachel.
Yeah.
Heiss. She's the office manager at the Warwick Grand office. She, I don't know if she's listening right now, but she does this amazing Halloween thing that's crazy. It's like over the top. It's not crazy. It's over the top. It's what she likes to do. But now she's in the process of doing a crazy Christmas one too. So.
She had said for years she wasn't going to because she didn't have the room to store this stuff.
I know. She said she's going to put a big giant shed in her backyard. But yeah, so she has a big giant Santa and automated stuff out there. And I saw a picture of it the other day, and I guess they were working on it. And I haven't driven by it yet, but I'm sure it's going to be spectacular. And I think there are other people that do the same thing. And I did notice that Halloween has become like this, I don't know, it's a craziness. I remember as a kid, we put the cardboard pumpkin on the window.
Right.
You remember? I don't know if you remember those. You're younger than me.
I do remember the cardboard, and we would.
That was it.
We would do a pumpkin.
A pumpkin
that we would place in the window. That was it.
Yeah, and now it's crazy, especially if you're in a neighborhood. I mean, it becomes this thing. And as a child, I do recall driving through neighborhoods to see the Christmas lights.
Correct. And that was my point, is we're coming into that season already where it's time to start to drive around.
Yeah, people have been putting the Christmas lights up as soon as Halloween came down, they were putting up the Christmas lights.
Right. Or I have a lot of people in our development that have the LED lights. So they switched from their purple and orange to orange and yellow for Thanksgiving to green and red for Christmas, or blue for Hanukkah. So it's all very exciting. That being said, I thought there were some super fun events going on around the area, and I thought it might be nice to spend a few minutes just kind of mentioning what some of the fun stuff is.
I have been we're looking at the screen right now. This is one of my favorite things to do, and we might go next weekend if I can convince my husband to do it. We've thought about it this weekend, but the it's the Christo Kindle Market at the Steel Stacks, and that is in Pennsylvania, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
It's beautiful to do, and like some of it's inside and some of it is outside. And this is a steel factory that is no longer a steel factory, and they do events and things like that in there.
Very nice.
Love it.
There's also at Ringwood Manor, which is right over the border in West, it's in Ringwood, but kind of near where Ringwood and West Milford, and kind of sort of, if you come through on the Tuxedo side of Orange County, kind of in that location, they're doing the Victorian Christmas at Ringwood Manor, and they really decorate the manor house beautifully. More locally, they have Christmas ornament workshop over at Drownlands.
Is that for kids or is it for grown-ups?
I think that is for grown-ups. There's the Winter Wonderland Market in New Windsor, and that's Saturday the 14th. Also on the 14th in Montgomery, they have the lighted holiday tractor parade.
Oh, that's fun.
I love any time that we take, we're such an agricultural area.
Mm-hmm.
So when we get the tractors out and we light them up, or we, it's just fun when we pull parade things with the tractors, and it makes me happy.
Is there, you're involved in Sugarloaf, right?
Yep.
Is there anything going on over there?
We do have our tree lighting and holiday festival coming up also on the 14th. And that is, they have free Santa rides up and down the street, and they have carolers at the church, and the shops are all open. It's a really nice day.
Listen, if anyone's having trouble getting into the Christmas spirit, going to any of these things, I mean, there's no excuse. There are a million things to do.
There's Breakfast with Santa in Washingtonville at their firehouse on the 15th. Over at Trails End in Greenwood Lake, they're having Family Christmas Carol sing-along with the Greenwood Lake Theater. I mean, that sounds like a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. Tin Barn is doing a country Christmas. They have performers coming in on Saturday night.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Yep, and they have a Nashville recording artist coming in for that.
Oh, cool.
On the 13th, over at our office, we're doing coffee and kids craft, make your own ornament. And then there's Christmas craft fairs. We have one in Warwick at St. Stephen's this Saturday.
This Saturday is the Winding Through Warwick Christmas House tours. That's this weekend. I think it's $65 for a ticket, but you get to go into all the different houses, and the money goes to the St. Anthony's Community Hospital.
And I love looking at the houses. I can't help it. It's so nice to see everybody's decoration. You get ideas.
Yeah.
Some people really do throwback, like that really Victorian feel, and
there was one house.
For me, I'm such a house voyeur. It's fabulous.
Well, yeah, obviously we both are. That's sort of how we got ourselves into this, right?
That's correct.
But I recall one house on the Winding Through Warwick tour that actually Nikki sold. First, I think Marcia Talbot had it listed, and she sold it, and then Nikki sold. I remember going to an open house that Nikki had there, and that house was on the tour a couple of owners ago, and she had all these beautiful owls, like with feathers all over. It was so pretty. That's it was one of those. Like a barn, post and beam house. Do you remember the house?
I don't. But
it's over like off Distillery, I think.
What I do know is some people really have a skill for decorating and pulling a theme together and making it look so beautiful. That is not a skill I have. I just want you to know.
But you like looking at
it. But I do. I appreciate what I can't do myself.
What is this? A pottery sale?
Yes. So in Warwick, they have you can do pottery class over at the community center. And once a year, they have their pottery show and sale.
Oh, cool.
And so that's on Sunday from 10 to 4.
I might check that out.
Mm-hmm. In Goshen this weekend, there's Pop-Up Holiday Boutique and their tree
That?
lighting. I think it's right on Main Street in Goshen.
Oh, cool.
And then Pictures with Santa over at Glenarden. And I mean, the list goes on and on and on. I put a few kind of fun ones in here. The Maybrook VFW is having the Grinch's Ugly Holiday. It's like a ugly sweater event. You go and hang out, and
I think in Washingtonville they do like Whoville or something too.
So I've been to that. I did not find that that did not pop up on my search easily, but
You'd have to look that up, I guess. Then.
Yep, kind of got to look that up. And then, of course, we always have New Year's Eve comes right towards the end of the and I see
I could never stay up anymore.
I see that Drownlands is having a party there as well. Oh, this was really fun. On the 21st, Ugly Sweater Party with live band karaoke.
Featuring Naughty Santa.
Yeah. Oh, those are two different events.
Oh.
But that being said, and I found there's one thing I thought that was kind of interesting. At the Yard, they're doing like a Nightmare Before Christmas market.
Where is this?
So that's at the Yard, which is, I think, right in Warwick. Although I'm not sure that's called the Yard anymore. I'll have to check on that location specifically. But they're doing, they have like bonfires and food and drink and
Gothic jewelry.
Right, tarot. And so to me, that was the anti-Christmas market. And on a really cool note, my last thing, on December 29th. So I don't know if you guys were watching it as Greenwood Lake opened their time capsule. They did it on Facebook Live. It was really cool. Yeah. So now it's the end of their, I could say whatever it was, Centennial. Anyway, so they are doing a new time capsule for 50 years. And on the 29th, they are going to seal that time capsule.
Cool.
Up. So I'm not sure what the...
I'm pretty sure I won't be there for that.
The opening, no, but the kids will be.
Yeah, the kids will be there.
So anyway, I just thought that was a really cool thing. Sealing the time capsule. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a different event.
I wonder what they're going to put in it.
I know, and I think you probably get to check that out. Maybe they're going to put the stuff in the time capsule, seal it, and then bury it.
Yep. Hopefully that's what they do so everyone can see.
Anyway, I think that we have, once again, filled an hour of fun and excitement. I hope that you have a fun, festive, and holiday-filled week of real estate.
Yes, and we'll see you next week, everybody, on Facebook Live and on right here on the radio. All right. Thanks, guys.